The library is the central pillar of scholarship. It's a multi-purpose structured service that supports the students' academics, extracurriculars, and even social life. In many ways, a university is only as good as its library. So what makes a good university library? What are the defining features of one? Today, we'll be looking at 5 libraries from some of the most prestigious universities in the United States, exploring their services, designs, and atmospheres. We begin our journey in Williamsburg, Virginia, the College of William & Mary's Earl Gregg Swem Library. Swem Library sits within the second oldest educational institution in the country, serving the school's 6,500 undergraduate students as their main general use library. William & Mary's original library, dating back to 1698, was housed inside the historic Wren Building, amassing its collection of books and manuscripts via donations from important figures like William Wake and Louis XVI. By the turn of the 20th century, the collection grew too large, requiring a new home. Thanks to Andrew Carnegie's $20,000 pledge, the university constructed Tucker Hall as the new library. It wasn't until 1966 the Swem Library officially became William & Mary's new hub for learning.
So Swem Library was named for Earl Gregg Swem, who was the university librarian from 1920 to about 1944, and he was instrumental in growing the library collection. When he came in, we had about 24,000 books, and by the time he left, we had almost 250,000 books. We have about 1.5 million books now, and we circulate about 200,000 materials every year. We teach about 200 workshops and do 500 to 800 research consultations each year, and have about 1 million visits every year. We have 4 floors at Swem Library, and it includes a coffee shop, a makerspace, the writing center, and the tutor zone. The makerspace has 3D printers, a button maker, and a sewing machine, and the idea behind that is we really believe that students should not only be consumers of knowledge, but that they should be able to create knowledge too. Students from any major, any department can use our makerspace. The media center is on the ground floor. It specializes in video and audio equipment and support. It has a production room, it has studio rooms, and we also have staff on hand who help students use the different equipment and software. We offer research help in many ways. We have a 24/7 chat service where librarians, not bots, answer research questions that come from our community and from pretty much around the world. Librarians at William & Mary staff it during the regular working hours, and the librarians from England and Australia will pick up when it's middle of the night here. And since we have over 700 databases, it's really important that we're here to help guide our students to finding the resources that they need. We are a very popular study space. We have quiet study up on the top floor, and then we have individual group study rooms that can be reserved. And then we also have more communal areas that people do better when they're studying surrounded by people who are also studying. And if you're looking for more of a living room environment, we have the Botetourt Gallery, which has more like couches and some soft seating, and also a really cool collection of Cuba film posters. I think what makes Swem Library especially wonderful is the people. Everyone who works here is dedicated to making sure that patrons have the best experience possible, and we're always looking for ways to welcome and assist anyone who comes into the door. I would say I've had the pleasure of working at numerous libraries in my time as a librarian, and I have found Swem Library to just be one of the most amazing places to work because it's so focused on the student. It offers wonderful spaces, it provides a lot of events, and it's just a great place to work, and I think a great place for students.
Our next destination is Ann Arbor, Michigan, land of the ice-cold landscapes, beautiful sunsets, and of course, Zingermans. We have a correspondent in Michigan, here to present the next library.
Welcome to the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, one of the most highly ranked and populated universities in the nation, boasting an impressive 31,000 undergraduate students who have a strong tie to the surrounding community. The university is a leading institution in several pertinent academic fields. In such a rigorous academic environment, students often find themselves toiling away in learning spaces scattered throughout the university, one of the most notable being the Shapiro Undergraduate Library, located in the heart of the institution. The structure itself contains several services that provide students with the necessary resources to complete their works. 4 floors in the basement full of study environments, studios both creative and digital, several computing sites, 2 sky bridges connecting the Shapiro Library to neighboring academic buildings, a first-floor library cafe, and even a caregiver study room. The University of Michigan has a grand total of 20 libraries that share a network of resources between one another. In essence, the Shapiro Library is just one link in a very large web, borrowing and sharing, but overall working in tandem with its sister institutions to provide the U of M students with the best services out there. To give a brief example list of other libraries that are on campus, there's the Hatcher Graduate Library, the William W. Cook Legal Research Library in the Law Quadrangle, the Kresge Library at the Ross Business School, the William L. Clements Library, and the Tubman Health Sciences Library. We reach out to a distinguished staff member of the Shapiro Library for more information.
The Shapiro Library is 4 stories right in the center of campus, and right next to that is the Hatcher Library. They're actually connected by a bridge. It's one complex here on center campus. But we also have libraries all across campus. The medical campus with our Tubman Library, on North Campus with the Architecture and Engineering Library and the Music Library. And they're all, administration-wise, we're connected. Our librarians are connected. Students can go to any of these libraries. It's all the same library system across campus. So the University of Michigan Library is one of the largest academic research libraries in the country. So we have over 10 million physical volumes in our collection, and we have an equally fast online collection. So, and then any student can come into any library. There still is a designation on the Hatcher Library that it's the graduate library, but of course the library is for anybody. Same with the Shapiro Undergraduate Library. A graduate student or anybody can go in them. So all of these libraries are connected. The Shapiro Library is definitely more of a undergrad feeling to it. We have a design lab there where you can get equipment for 3D printing. We have a audiovisual editing room, so you can go in there and work with your video. And we also have a dedicated audio recording room for professional audio or if you want to do a podcast. So we have those rooms. We also have a Pi space for large collaborations. It's got like whiteboards on rollers and different furniture that you can move around. So if you want to bring a group together, you can come to our Pi space. Shapiro also houses our Ask With Media library. So if you want to check out a DVD or a movie or music, a physical copy of things, you can go to Ask With. And we also have our computer and video games archive in Shapiro on the 4th floor. So we have thousands and thousands of video games, board games, other kind of games that you can come and check out. That's actually one of the largest collections of video games in the country. Hatcher Library houses our Asia Library, which is one of the largest collections of Eastern Asian languages in the country. We have the Clark Library and the Hatcher Library. The Clark Library is for maps, atlases, and government information. We have our Special Collections Research Center in the Hatcher Library. That's for our rare, unique, and special items, source materials there. We have Jewish heritage history is a collection strength in our Special Collections Research Center. Transportation, filmmakers in our Mavericks and Makers collection. So that's just to name a few out of the special collections. In terms of culture, I mean, that's really set by the students. Over the years, the students have kind of predetermined what spaces have what noise levels, and that's true in spaces like our reading room. Our reference reading room is a really big space. It's a really pretty space, and the students who use that space expect silence, and they govern that themselves. We've never said it has to be a quiet space. That's just the expectation that they have for themselves. So the culture really is the culture that the students bring to the library.
We're transitioning further to the west for our next location, with yet another correspondent.
Welcome to Brigham Young University, located in Provo, Utah. Here, students come from all over to learn in a more spiritual setting. Classes often open with prayers, and every Sunday, the classrooms are filled with sacrament services. Founded in 1875 by Brigham Young, successor to Joseph Smith, and sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, BYU has grown into a staple university, well known and respected in Utah. BYU has a strong foundation in a wide variety of academic fields, ranging from engineering and kinesiology to education and music. The university's various academic focuses are defined by the students, who vary in interests and values. Beginning as a small collection of books and teachings in Carl G. Major's desk cabinet, the collection gradually grew over the centuries to become the Harold B. Lee Library, the 665,000 square foot, 6-story building that stands in the center of BYU's campus plaza. According to the library's statistics, the walls contain 6 million items kept on bookshelves, spanning a total of 98 miles. The library accommodates all of BYU's student body and supports them in their scholastic and personal projects. We interviewed one such student and asked them about their thoughts.
I think it's really, really cool place. Like, I love it. I really like how it has so many different writing labs to help you with your essays for different classes. Like you have like the FHSS and you have the American Heritage Help Writing Center, and I think that's really useful. I really like that there's so many different displays. So they have a lot of different exhibits that are seasonal. So right now there's like a cool video game one that talks about video games that are interactive with Latter-day Saint culture, and that's gonna be changed in June to who knows what. But I really like seeing the creativity constantly being displayed. I mean, I feel like they're always like improving some part of the library for whatever reason. Like I was just passing by some people who were changing out an exhibit. The thing I like about the second floor is that there's all of the humanities. If you have a major decided, you're gonna be basically like spending all your time on one floor, and it's really nice because you just get so used to that. What's really unique about the first floor that I don't think probably not many other universities have is there's a whole room dedicated to families. There are so many students here with children. It's like a plexiglass, like spaced off area that is only for families, and you can study in there, and there's like strollers that you can park there. Like, I think that's a good culture shock. The fourth floor, I really like because there's like this cinema room. It was really nice atmosphere, really nice sound quality. So I was surprised, like, why is there a cinema in the library? Like, literally, like this library, I feel like has it all. I really like the hub because I'm just really glad we have first year peer mentors, but like they have like a whole space like just reserved for these like upperclassmen to just help with first year kids who don't know really what they're doing. And so it's just really helpful because you have them on like text, and then you can go meet up there, and it's just it's a really cool place.
In conclusion, what makes BYU such a great library is not only its size and the various services in it, but also because it includes the identity of its students in it.
Next up is New York University. Though not presented in the same ways as the ones prior, we still have a correspondent who has graciously recorded us a report on their library.
New York University is located in the center of the most densely populated city in the United States. And as students, I feel that has given us the opportunity to live in one of the most vibrant and bustling environments out there. But of course, that comes with issues such as spacing and real estate. And so I assume certain zoning laws in our district prevent NYU from having one of those warehouse-looking libraries which you might see at many other schools, like the ones which are really wide but really only have like 3 floors. And so instead, we have the Bobes Library, which is red, tall, square structure that has about 10 floors and 2 basement levels. So where the Bobes Library lacks in horizontal space, it makes up vertically. So since the Bobes Library is really the only school library that I've really visited, I would say that it has become pretty normal for me, but I would definitely say that the elevators have become more essential. And the different levels are used for different things and different activities. And the higher levels are usually occupied by the graduate students and some of the staff members, while the freshmen, like me, tend to stay on the lower floors, but usually you will find spaces that are occupied by both. So one thing that I would say makes Bobes distinct from other libraries is that as opposed to other university libraries where noise levels might be separated by floors, Bobes has a north and south side kind of separating the sort of the quiet side of the floor and the more regular conversational side of the floor. Overall, I've really never had an issue with the vertical design. But of course, Bobes has the typical university library package in terms of services, such as books, computers, printers, snack areas, study lounges, special collections, and interlibrary loan systems. But of course, since NYU is a film school, the Digital Media Center is somewhat exceptional as well. And I'm not quite sure if this is something worth bragging about, but I have heard that Bobes is somewhat notorious for students spending an immense amount of consecutive hours in the library. And that's probably because the lower levels are open 24/7, so that allows students to work for 10 plus hours if they wanted to. Personally, I haven't used the library that intensely. Usually I'll study in the study lounge in my dorm, but I guess I'm more of a casual user of the Bobes Library. But of course, I still use their services to complete projects and to collaborate with other classmates on school projects.
We return to the state of Virginia for our final tour. A 2.5-hour drive from Williamsburg is the college town of Charlottesville, the place of residence for our final correspondent.
Founded by Thomas Jefferson in 1819, The University of Virginia, located in Charlottesville, is one of the most well-known public universities in the nation. UVA's 1,135-acre campus is home to 12 undergraduate and graduate schools and 25,000 students. The centerpiece of this historic campus is Jefferson's Academical Village, home to the Rotunda, modeled after the Pantheon in Rome. Interestingly, the Rotunda was originally used as a library, as Jefferson envisioned a university centered around education rather than a chapel or some other religious symbol. Ultimately, when the needs of the collection outgrew the capacity of the Rotunda, the university built the Charles L. Brown Engineering Library in Clark Hall, Clemens Library, and the under-renovation Alderman Library. Together, the library network houses more than 20 million archives and manuscripts, close to 5 million books, and hosts 800,000 visitors each year. The focus of the documentary today will be the Clemens Library located behind me. Lovingly called Clem, it, along with Clark, is the busiest library on grounds. With its 24/5 schedule, which becomes 24/7 during finals week, you can often walk in at any hour to find students hard at work, or sometimes hardly working. Built in the stereotypical brutalist style, Clemens is located across the street from the Academical Village on McCormick Road. Apart from the stacks located on the bottom floor, the library also has study spaces on each of the 4 floors, a media center where students can rent audiovisual equipment, and a student center, which is right in front of me, where staffed with career counselors where students can come to seek guidance and advice. Some other services offered to students are the collaborative learning centers and peer tutoring services that take place in the library, where one can come to seek help with math, English, and other subjects. Designed to promote collaboration among students, Clemens has many booths and cubicles, where students can get together in groups to work, whether it's collaborating on a homework assignment or studying for a midterm.
It's important to note that the Clemens Library is not intended to be UVA's primary library. That role belongs to the Alderman Library, which is currently under renovation and set to open fall of 2023. The redesign is meant to bring the historic library up to current standards of safety and quality of services, which drives home a broader point. The features of a good library change with global trends and expectations. The resources a student needs to complete their projects evolve with the rise and fall of new methods of communication and expression. And each of the showcase libraries do just that. You might have noticed, but at the end of the day, each of these libraries offer the same services. The only difference? The way students use the spaces. The culture of each of these libraries is dictated by the students. And in many ways, they are who define the unique identity of each of these institutions.